Myanmar has now seen nearly 6 weeks of violent protests after the country's military seized power in a coup. Chris Livesay joins us now from Rome this morning with more details on the struggle for power there, as well as other stories. Chris, what can you tell us?
Well, good morning, Anne-Marie. We do begin in Myanmar, where the bloody crackdown on peaceful protests continues. At least 12 people were killed in separate incidents Thursday, according to a watchdog group. In the central town of Myang, police shot into a crowd of unarmed civilians, killing at least 8. Social media images showed roads covered in blood and lifeless bodies. One UN official said the crackdown by the country's military is, quote, likely meeting the legal threshold for crimes against humanity. Moving on to Europe, the EU Parliament has declared the entire European Union an LGBTIQ Freedom Zone. And now it's a symbolic resolution passed in response to local authorities in Poland that labeled themselves, quote, LGBT ideology-free zones in recent years. The European Parliament's gesture of disapproval came just hours after the Polish government announced plans to close a loophole that allowed same-sex couples to adopt. The new law in Poland requires background checks, and if a person is found trying to get around the ban, they'll be held criminally responsible. In India, the country is witnessing its first major city returning to a complete lockdown. Nagpur in western India is suffering a sharp spike in coronavirus cases. So, starting Monday, all non-essential businesses will be closed for 1 week, with police enforcing a strict curfew. The surrounding state of Maharashtra has always been a COVID hotspot, with more confirmed cases than anywhere else in the country. Now, scientists fear the uptick could be the result of new variants. Another reason? Well, people dropping their guard, not wearing their masks or social distancing, which is hard in a developing country as densely populated as India. Finally, let's end here in India, let's end here in Italy, rather, where one of a growing number of nations is reconsidering the AstraZeneca COVID vaccine. Italy banned a batch of it after at least 2 people who took it died. Now, we must emphasize there is no evidence the vaccine caused those deaths, but other countries are taking similar precautions. Thailand has delayed use of the vaccine altogether after Denmark, Austria, and other European countries did the same, following reports of blood clots in some people. Experts point out that of the millions of AstraZeneca vaccines administered elsewhere, there have been no reported cases of blood clots or related problems. And here in Italy, people are eager to get a vaccine of any kind as soon as possible. Here, less than 8% of the country has gotten their first shot of any kind, compared to the United States, where that number is closer to 19%. Meanwhile, in Italy, there are many people in their 80s, my own father-in-law included, who still have no idea when they're going to get their first shot of the vaccine. Anne-Marie?
That is shocking, considering how long Italy has been going through this, long before the U.S. Well, hopefully you'll keep on that, because I'd like to hear an update on that story. Chris, thank you very much.